allowing square breathing. Sometimes we call it box breathing. 3 counts, inhale. 3 counts, just, it's not clasping the breath in the body, it's just hovering it, allowing it to infuse. 3 counts on the exhale, hanging out in that pool of stillness. Sometimes I picture this breath like a little kid playing on a slide. Like the inhale is when they're walking up the ladder of the slide. And then the time at the top is just that moment, that hesitation before they go down the slide. And then the exhale is the time when you go down the slide and then they get to the bottom and then there's this moment where the kid just sits there before they sort of bounce back again and run back up the ladder. You can just picture this cycle, especially these little kids, how they go up the ladder, slide down, and there's a moment of hesitation at the top before they, jump down the slide. And there's that moment of sort of thrill, letting the thrill absorb into their body, or letting the excitement that they've just had going down the slide absorb into their body when they're at the bottom. Anyway, that's my mental picture that I always have in box breathing. Bring your fingertips right to the ends of your knees. Let's do some slow cat-cows. So as you exhale, your chin tucks and your back arches. And as you inhale, there's a nice tall spine again. Be gentle here. Imagine that your slow, warm breath just moves into the body and supports all the places that feel tight and achy. Your practice today has the full intention of just moving in and offering nourishment, support, a little bit of care and love to all of those achy corners. Don't do any movement that creates more pain. Just move in ways that nourish and release tightness from the body. Imagine your breath has the potential to just warm and melt away any of the sticky, tight areas. If your low back's particularly achy today, then let this cat-cow happen in your upper back. Bring it to the space between your shoulder blades predominantly, and don't press through the low back as much. And then come back to center. Nice. Roll the shoulders down your back. 2 more times. Nice. We'll start to do our side bends, hand to the chair, and then side bend and back up. Let's just keep doing the same side. If you'd like a little bit of extra work here, allow your gaze to turn up every time the elbow comes up and over your head. If the shoulder's tight, know that you can practice this with your hand just touching the shoulder instead of swinging the arm. Reach your breath out through those side ribs, pressing the lungs into the inside edge of the rib cage, letting the rib cage feel the expansion outward. Like you're creating the possibility that your rib cage can actually have more contraction and expansion in it than usual. I visualize it like it gets more springy. It has more ability to be elastic. Yeah. Okay, let's end that side and start the other side, dropping that left hand down. Breathe. It's nice and slow. The inhale, pulling that hand up and over the head, and the exhale, dropping it down. Yeah. Nice. Same thing here. You're just imagining that the lungs can fill so full that they press up on the inside ribs. And those inside ribs reach up and away from the body. Imagining that your breath alone has the capacity to just allow more elasticity, more expansion. Yoga has this word called spanda, and it basically means ability to expand and contract. I like it. Remember that top hand can be on shoulder the second that you even want to change because the shoulder or the arm is getting tight or sore. Yeah. Coming back to center, dropping. Let's do 3 shoulder rolls backwards again. 1, 2, 3. Dropping your right ear to the right shoulder. Let's take an extra stretch downward through the left hand. And then just slowly turn the chin down. Gently let the chin lift. Down. Move with your breath. The inhale is one direction. The exhale is the other direction. Release and let that head float back up again. Let's take left ear to left shoulder. There's an extra reach downward with the right hand. Chin moves slowly towards the shoulder and slowly up. Whatever the range of motion is, just let it serve you. If you can keep breathing while you're doing this, that's the most important part. Don't ever let your movement while you're practicing yoga make you hold your breath. That just means your movement got a bit big, or your body's protecting some area. Sometimes we hold our breath because we're moving into an area where the body's like, I'm still healing there, be gentle. Let the head come back up. Nice work. So these elbows are going to lift up. The space where the elbows can land is either shoulder height or lower, and you just squeeze them together and pull them away. So feel the shoulder blades squeeze towards the spine, elbows pulled back. Pull the shoulder blades away from the spine. In your mind's eye, your attention is in the back body between the shoulder blades. The muscles there are called the rhomboids. And imagine as you squeeze and release, you're just allowing these rhomboids to find length, to release the tightness. Your warm breath moving in, and it's almost like how hot water fused with honey would sort of liquefy the honey. Just imagine the muscles as sort of like gooey, sticky, kind of tight, and then that warm breath, that hot movement just melts it away, allowing the movement to be a bit more releasing. Yeah. Okay, release that. Shoulders roll back, perhaps 3 times. Nice. Let's bring some attention to the palms, letting them come together. And then you roll the hands downwards. The backs of the hands will come to meet, and then roll them back up. Palms meet. Roll them down. Backs of the hands meet. Roll them up. Palms meet. Just let yourself press into that space, working the wrists a little bit here. Keep your breath smooth. Keep it warming. Imagine that your warm breath is moving into your wrist joint, and just, I don't know, it's my old WD-40 analogy. Letting the WD-40 go in and create lubrication and the ease of the movement. So change directions now. Still a nice smooth breath. Yeah. Good. Finish, and then open the palms really wide. Take the thumb to the pinky finger, open wide. Thumb to ring finger, wide. Middle finger, wide. Stretching these hands. Every time a finger and the thumb touch, imagine your breath just reaching into that fingertip and thumb. Maybe you're visualizing it as that hot water going in to melt away tightness, resistance, arthritis, pain. Maybe you're going in to imagine that it's more like the honey and hot water mixing together. Either way, or WD-40, whatever visuals work for you, you're just imagining how our practice loosens everything up. Yeah. Sweet work. All right, so arms can lift up just about shoulder height and right hand crosses the body. Sweep the left hand under, let the palm come towards your face and give it a gentle pull. Just feel into the outside of the shoulder. Nice. Releasing that side, your arms can open wide again. Let's take the right arm across, sweeping that left arm across. Sweep the right arm under. Give it a gentle pull. Just breathe into the outside where you can feel the stretch in the shoulder. Next exhale, you're releasing it all. If your bum isn't kind of on the edge of your chair, then bring it to the edge. I'm going to separate my feet just a little bit wider. So this next movement, it's almost like you're going to take your right hand, reach over to the left, and then open the arm wide. Reach over. Sometimes I would describe this like my lawnmower one. You're going to reach, imagine you're pulling the cord of the lawnmower back up. This is super slow motion though. I'm going to inhale and pull the cord up. Exhale, reach back down again. I'm just imagining my lawnmower today. It's like the first time it's been started all spring. It's taking a little bit of time. The same way you need to kind of press the starter button and put a bit of oil in through the engine, let things lubricate before things get started up. And then release that side. Put the hand down. Left hand reaches across to the bottom right and then pulls up to the top left. Breathe. There's an inhale, exhale. Two more. 1, 2. Sweet work. You can feel your back body waking up. You can feel the back of your neck and shoulders waking up. 3 more shoulder rolls. Good. Yeah. Get that moving. All right, let's start to play with the hips a little bit. We're going to move our feet over to the right side of the chair. I'm going to let my left bum cheek hang off and take the bottom backhand to the back of the chair. The left leg just hangs down. Push through the heel and release. Push through the heel and release. Remember that if you want to move further here, if there's no pain in the low back or upper body, that foot can reach further back. Yeah. If you feel really settled here and your arms want to lift, they can. You can feel that down the front side here. If this is pinching the low back, let the knee come closer. Come dropping down below you. Yeah. And then lift that knee up. Good. Let's sweep all the way around to the other side. Right bum cheek hangs off the chair. Left foot grounds. We drop back hand to the back of the chair, drop the right knee and push and release. You're relaxing the neck and shoulders. You're letting this be work of the low hip. So it's not happening in the low back. There's no tension occurring or rising in the upper body. Back foot can be as far back as it feels good. Hands can be lifted if you're wanting the extra. Nice. Feels good across the front of that hip. Sweet. Slide that foot forward and let's bring everything back to the front. Good. So heels are underneath, getting a little bit closer. Your knees are over top of your toes. Let's lean forward. Don't stand. Make this super slow, where you can just feel as you lean forward all of this strength rising in your legs. Feel the connection to the ground through your feet. Start imagining that you could press through the soles of your feet and use that to let your bum lift off the chair. Start in this position. So you start with just hands on legs, knees bent, and then play with your back here. Lengthen it. Feel it round. Lengthen it. Feel it round. It's different here than it is seated. It's this gentle stretch, this tractioning that happens. Breathe. Breathe. Good. And then inhale, let yourself come all the way up. Yeah. Let's just stand so that one hand can touch the chair. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, bring them to your heart. Breathe in. Exhale, hands to heart. Modify any way you need to. Arms don't go all the way overhead. Don't stress. Just bring breath into your body. That's our only intention today. Breathe. And come down. Sweet. I want to use the seat of the chair. So I'm going to stand a little bit closer, separate my feet, and then turn the toes that are closest to that chair. There. Good. So now instead of using the back of the chair, I'm going to try for the seat. If you tip your hips towards the left leg, the spine feels like it's really long and straight. You can choose if the hand stays on the back of the chair or if it feels like the hand might touch the chair seat. Top hand can come to the sky, or you're here. Both are fine. Breathe. Push those hips out to the side. Reach tall through the crown of your head. There's your options. Pinkies, tented fingers, flat palm, or back of your chair. Lift all the way up. Nice work. Come around to the other side of your chair, or however it's working best in your house. Turn the toes towards. This time my hips will kick to the right. Reach them out. Start with your hand on the back of the chair. If it feels like you can go far enough, hands can move to seat of the chair. Breathe. Relax into that. Allow any tension to release so it feels like you can let go and find length in those muscles around the hips, perhaps even the legs. Inhale and pull yourself up. Good work. So come to the back of your chair. Let the hands come onto the tall seat back and press yourself into that flat pose again. So here what you're going to do is bend your knees and start to straighten. And bend your knees and start to straighten. Allow yourself to go slowly here. You're just nourishing. You're stretching and bringing warm oxygenated blood to all those areas that need a little bit of love. Inhale and let yourself walk up to the chair. Pick up your right heel. And then imagine that you are going to press the heel behind you and release. press and release. In my visual, I always have something heavy that I'm pushing, like a big cement door, a heavy door. I'm trying to push it open an inch and close it so it doesn't latch. You know, you close the door just enough that it doesn't lock on you. And then release that right foot, lift up the left. Same visual, it's a push and a release. Imagine the foot actually pressing against something that has a little bit of resistance, a little bit of weight to it. Don't push so high that you feel like anything's building in the low back. Yeah, good job. And then release. Bring yourself to a position where your feet are just a little bit wider than hip width, and then sink into the knees. Press through the soles of the feet to lift up. Sink into the knees. This whole time I've got one hand on my low back. I'm just reminding my low back that it doesn't have to be tipping and tucking. If you go down and your bum kind of goes out behind you, then your low back will be doing some work. So you're trying to go down in such a way that the low back is okay. You're building a little bit of juiciness in the legs. You don't have to go very far to start to feel it. Training our body where that movement comes from. Good. Come back up. Nice. So take the right foot out in front of you, and all I want you to do, I'm actually going to lift my toes so you can see the foot tick-tock in front of me. I'm imagining that my thigh bone is turning in the hip socket here. Turn, turn. Externally rotate, internally rotate. And then put that foot down. Yeah, work it out a little bit. Other side. Lift left, same deal. It's a, tick-tock, rotation movement, outward and inward. You can feel it happening right up here at the hip socket. It's not your foot wagging back and forth, it's your thigh bone moving. Yeah, and then bring that out. Okay, so now we're just going to take the foot behind us and do little kicks. Heel lift, toe touch, heel lift, toe touch. Here, sometimes it's your opposite standing leg that's getting all the work. Slide that foot down. Good, wiggle it out. Other side. Lift, toe touch, lift, toe touch. Good. And then bring those feet back down. Go hip width apart and just sway the hips right and left. Keep the pelvis really neutral so there's no, sometimes when you move all the way to the right, there's like a rotation that happens. Imagine that we're not trying to do a rotation here at all. It's just a gentle sway. As soon as the hips want to sort of dive forward, don't let them. Yeah. Oh, feels so good. Okay, so now do a little bit of hula hoop. Gentle. Gentle. And go the other way. Changing the direction of that movement if you haven't already. Good. Okay, come out of that pose. We'll go to the back of the chair again for one more long, flat work. Nice. Good. When we come to the floor today, I'm going to have us side lying. So we're going to do 4 exercises lying on the right side of our body. Lie flat on our back for a moment. 4 exercises on the left side of the body. flat on our back to finish, okay? So let yourself think about what you might want to need, what you might need in order to make that comfortable for you. Yoga mat, blanket. You're bringing yourself what you need for support. So I'm going to make sure that I have a nice tall pillow. And remember, if there's any shoulder injury, this kind of movement here, where you allow your body to just sort of be in, there we go, where you allow the rib cage to be lifted, and then this hole right here is for the arm. I'll pull back more. So come down carefully. I'm on my right to start, but it doesn't matter. So you can see how when the rib cage catches this, the shoulder has a hole to fall into, and everything just kind of aligns. You can put more under the hip if the hip needs support. Let's bring the hands out. Your knees are bent, ankles stacked, knees stacked. Good. Both arms reach out in front of you. Inhale, top hand to the sky. Exhale, let it turn back behind you. Inhale, lift it to the sky. Exhale, bring it down again. Think of your box breathing. There's an inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Inhale, pause. Exhale. Maybe you're going to go even slower than that. Counting to 3. Counting to 3. Yeah. Perhaps you'll close your eyes and just let your body feel the rib cage twist that you're creating here. Feel how the rib cage turns itself and the hips stay still. The top knee doesn't pull back with you. There's just a gentleness to this, opening up some of the tightness in the upper body. Every time we open up tightness in the shoulders and the upper ribs and in the hips, all of that new range of motion we access supports your low back. Last one. Next time you find your palms touching, leave them there, or you can even bring the hands in closer to you. Take your top palm onto your hip. The visual here is that your hip stays, like where the hand touches the pelvic bone stays still. The thigh bone lifts and lowers. Your ankles stay touching. They call this clamshell pose because it's like your thighs and calves and shins maybe are the opening of the clamshell. You've got to go slowly, and the lift is not very high. You'll notice my knee does not pass the height of my hip. In that way, I'm strengthening the joint here, and I'm not straining the low back. Yeah. Let's do 3 more, or just finish when your body tells you you're done. And then release. Let's take a sweeping breath through that leg. So notice that when it stops, that's one level of release, but when you sweep a breath through, you're able to relax it a bit more. Nice. The fingers come right out in front of you again. This time, instead of lifting hands to the sky, you're reaching the fingertips kind of up by your ear, reaching that hand behind you, and then turning around and sweeping it back again. Opening up that shoulder joint. Reach and release. Breathe. Exhale. Last one. Bring those hands back. Good. Top hand comes to hip, and then stretch the top leg down. Bottom knee can stay bent. All I want you to do is lift and lower so that it feels like the foot comes hip height highest and then back down again. If you can relax the neck, the shoulders, the back, relax the bottom side of your body. Imagine that it's just these leg muscles, these bum muscles, doing all the work of pulling the foot and leg off the floor. You'll start to feel a little bit of burn down there. If the low back is burning, lift lower. Yeah, if the burn is in the bum cheek and thigh, side abductors, that's good. And then release. Bend into the knees. Bring the feet together. Deep breath. Now let's give ourselves a moment to go to the back body before we roll to the other side. If you've got an extra blanket underneath the rib cage, you might find that's uncomfortable when you get to the back, so you might want to take it out. Take your time. Keep your knees bent. Let your hands open beside you. Close your eyes and just notice the way the breath moves in down through the right side body and the way the breath moves down in through the left. Notice how your warm breath is accessing the side of your body that had all the movement. And how your breath is accessing the side of your body that was resting on the floor, not moving. Good. Take your time and set yourself up on the other side. So I'm going to move so that instead of not facing you, I'm facing you. I'll go to the other end of my mat. Good. So our 4 poses on this side now. Hands out in front, top fingers to sky, and rib cage turns and opens. Remember your box breathing, how you think of an inhale, letting it hang out. Allow the exhale, opening the chest, letting it hang out, slowly coming back. Notice that you want your hips and knees to be relaxed. So you're not allowing the hips and knees to move. The top knee is not sliding back as you reach that arm behind you. This is not a twist for the low back. The hips stay pretty upright. We're trying to get this twist to be in the rib cage, in the armpit. Yeah. Little bit in the neck, especially if you choose to sort of follow it. Follow your hands with your gaze. Maybe your eyes are closed and you're just slowly allowing yourself to love the sensations of this opening. All right, next time hands land, let's do one more. Palms release. You can leave them here. You can just tuck the hands in closer before you bring the top fingers to the hip. Keep the ankles connected, the knees stacked. Slowly lift that top thigh and set it down again. Do your best to keep the bottom side body relaxed. Do your best to keep your shoulders, your neck, everything like that relaxed. Imagine that you're asking the muscles of the thigh to just pull the whole leg up and then to release it back down again. If there's any pain here in the low back, you're either going to make it smaller or not lift at all. Last one. These ones sneak up on us a little bit faster. You can feel the burning quickly. So take that breath to release it. Second breath to just really let the body relax. Bring the palms back together again. All right, so the fingers are going to reach up above your ears. My chair's in the way. And then back behind you into that sticky area. As soon as you feel the stickiness, making your breath be short, and then bring the hand back. Smooth, easy breath. Make the inhale reach the arm one direction. The exhale, sweep it back again. Go really slow and long, controlling the inhale. Sometimes you can feel all these clicks and clunks in the shoulder. Be gentle with that. Maybe this is the last one. Maybe you'd already finished. Bring palms back. Relax them. Take top hand to hip. The fingers there are reminding the pelvis to stay upright and be still. So there's no movement happening. Movement's all in the legs. Lengthen the top foot away from you. Keep the bottom leg bent. The highest you lift is the foot hip height, and then set it back down again. You're trying to let the bottom body be relaxed. The upper body be relaxed. Asking this leg to be responsible for all the movement that it's creating. Your breath is fluid and strong. It's the supporting movement behind the physical. Maybe you'll do 3 more, maybe you're done. Nice. Good. So knees ground. Again, you're going to roll onto your back body. If you have that extra rib cage blanket underneath you that might want to come out, let yourself move on to back body. You still will want a pillow. And when you go to back body, remember, sometimes those 2 extra places that can benefit from support would be rolling a blanket to just lift the tailbone a tiny bit, or rolling the blanket so that the lumbar has that little bit of extra support. Let's keep the knees bent. Hands lift up to the sky. Palms grab elbows. And just go back and forth. Elbows fall right, knees fall left. Breathe in to center. Elbows fall left, knees to right. Breathe in to center. If there's no pain in this movement, the elbows can go as close to the floor as possible. Same with the knees. You're releasing the arms and legs though. You're not dropping them. They're moving with control as if everything's got hydraulics in it. The movement can also be very small, just a little wave back and forth in the sky. if you do find there's discomfort in the movement. Let yourself go 3 more times to right and 3 more times to left. And then release. Good. Okay, I want to give you some options for the next one. Some of you might just bring the right knee into chest, squeeze it, and then do some squeeze releases here. We'll start there. So then you'll choose if you stay there doing squeeze releases, or if you activate the foot and cross it over the left thigh. And then just do, I don't know, push pulls, like reach away and reach back with the thigh. Gently. You can stay with those first 2 movements, or you can add a third. The third would be lifting the left foot off the floor. You might lift and release and see how that feels. If it feels okay, you might slide fingers in behind the thigh, or let the arms open and hang out. Huge core building if you choose this. You can even lift that leg. But just remember, you can stay anywhere. You can stay right here where there's no low back tension, hopefully. Or you can even stay here. Nice. And then put that foot back on the floor. Slowly untangling right ankle and releasing it to the mat. Let's start with left. Knee comes to chest. There's some squeezing and releasing here. Noticing any tension in the hip socket. You can stay here if you don't want to proceed with the next 2 options. 2, 3 options. Activate the foot, cross it over the right thigh, and then there's this swinging door motion that happens. Gentle. Choosing if you want to stay here or if you want to try lifting the right foot. This brings in low back, brings in core. If that's what you're looking for, the fingers can slide in behind the left leg. Sorry, that's the right leg, or open to the sides. Remember, you have all the options. Swinging door, or just the squeeze release of the thigh to the chest. Take your time, slowly unravel the foot to the floor. Nice. Cross your ankles, and as the knees come into chest, do some nice gentle rolls on the low back. Breathe. Whatever direction you're rolling, change directions. And release. Okay, you've got some options here. If it's comfortable for you to just lie here for a moment, head raised on a pillow, soles of the feet on the floor, just let your knees fall together. You can stay here for a few breaths. If you'd rather move on off the floor and sit in your chair already, feel free to do that. Let's just have 10 breaths. Your visual is allowing that warm, healing breath Just scanning your physical body and noticing if you have infused all the different parts of your body with this breath. If you can feel like you've invigorated your circulation, enabling breath to reach all the way to fingertips and all the way to toes. Noticing your body's expansion and contraction, its spanda. Just that little bit of suppleness, of elasticity that your breath has enabled. Your visual of hot water added to honey or WD-40. Noticing the ability of that warm breath to go in and melt away places of stickiness, tightness, resistance. Limbering things up. Let your breath be deep and warming. Drawing it right down into the bowl of the pelvis. Right down into the sole of the feet. Right down into the back body. Good work. Let's rise really slowly. So you might stretch a little bit first. You might wiggle the fingers and toes. And turn over to one side to bring yourself up. Choose if you're going to use a chair, coming to hands and knees perhaps first. Using a chair. Just come to standing for a moment. Let the soles of your feet drop, feel connected to the floor. Let the crown of your head rise. Can you see me? Shoulders roll. And breathe. I just have my knees bent so my whole body fits in the frame, but it does add an element of work if you feel like you want it. So good. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today, everyone. Namaste. Feel free to unmute. I appreciate you being here today.